Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of Full Court Press Basketball Debate, January 27th, 2015, the last edition of January.
Take those away from me.
Chris Guyette here with Yvonne Juno. A lot to discuss today. And the first thing is the most important thing. We know we've heard all the media news about it. We've heard all kinds of different opinions about it, but now, for the first time,
It's official.
are going to debate it. Kobe Bryant.
Well, we were waiting for things to be more official.
Kobe Bryant tears his rotator cuff, is out for the season, having surgery today, as we speak.
Oh, is he? I didn't realize they had confirmed that.
The question is not, will the Lakers be the same without Kobe? The question is
That goes
not,
without saying.
will the Lakers make the playoffs? The question is not, where do the Lakers go from here? The question is, Yvonne Juno, is Kobe done? Why or why not?
Well, that's a double-sided question for me. It's a two-part. Number one, do I think he should be done? Yes, I do. I think he should be done. Number one, he's paid his dues. He's had a phenomenal career. The name Kobe Bryant will be remembered. I think, personally speaking, that Kobe would rather be remembered for going out. Oh, we're like official now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I think Kobe would much prefer to be remembered going out on a good note. Now, don't get me wrong. He would much prefer to be remembered going out with a winning season and a ring. Do I see that happening? No. So, if it comes down to the fact that Kobe, we're going to give you surgery, you're going to take the rest of the season out, you're going to come back next year, and you may or may not be the same, or you may or may not re-injure yourself all over again. You never know with one of those kind of things. A rotator cuff injury is a serious injury. You have to have full, total, 360 degree rotation of that arm. Okay? I think if you pose that question to him, I think he'd rather go out now. Did you fix the volume?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know I would. I don't think Kobe wants to go out in this fashion, but I think given the lesser of two evils, and it's time for the man to retire. I really think it's time. I think that he was contemplating retiring after this season anyway. I really see him retiring now, not only because he was thinking about retiring, but because he doesn't want to come back and be known that he went out on a bad note and he went out injured or re-injured. I really do. Okay, that's what I think logically. Do I think that Kobe thinks that he is so good and that he is going to he's going to persevere so hard and train so hard on the off season that he's going to try to come back next year anyway? Yeah, it would not surprise me in the least, because he's Kobe. Because the man doesn't know how to quit. The man is a never say die guy. That could come back to bite him, and he could regret that. So, if you're asking me, is he done? I personally think that it's enough. Okay? Do I think that Kobe might think it's enough? No, he probably doesn't. No, because he's not made like that. He thinks he's going to have this surgery, he's going to take the rest of the season off, he's going to go through physical therapy, go back to training. work really hard and come back next year and be better than ever.
Before I give you my in-depth opinion on this situation, let me explain.
I see both sides.
Let me explain my place in this conversation. Let me explain the point of view that I am taking for this explanation. My favorite, if you tune into this show weekly, you have heard me say, for the record, that my favorite player of all time is that of Kobe Bryant. I believe that this is the only man that I could even put into consideration to be better than that of Michael Jordan. Because their styles are so similar, because they play with the same killer instinct, even though I believe Kobe's is better. It's arguable.
Yeah.
It's arguable. But I truly believe, and I have been on the record saying this, and nothing that anybody says is going to change my mind, that Kobe Bryant is the best guard, probably the best overall player to step on a basketball floor. I know there are people that will argue with me, but that's okay. Because we're all entitled to our personal opinion, and that's fine.
Right.
The point of view I'm taking on this is that of the ultimate Kobe Bryant fan. And you have to understand the respect that I have for this man, not only as a basketball player, but as a human being.
There's a couple of things about him personally that should not have happened.
It depends. When you are asked the question, is Kobe done? It is very straightforward. It is very matter of fact. It is very to the point. But it depends on what you mean
by done.
by done.
Exactly. That's a point I was
Is
trying to
Kobe
make.
Bryant done as an elite player? As an upper echelon MVP candidate? Yes. That's a fact. It's father time knocking on your door.
Plus an injury. A substantial injury.
Is Kobe Bryant, in my mind, done being Kobe Bryant? Is Kobe Bryant, in my mind, done playing basketball? Is Kobe Bryant done by saying, okay, I've had enough, this is it? Absolutely not. Because,
Can I interrupt you?
sure.
Have a question for you that just absolutely popped into my head out of nowhere. And you know, I have to do this when I think about it or I'll forget. Do you see Kobe ever coaching a team?
No. But I see Kobe Bryant having a management position
Okay.
because coaching is too close to the court.
I think it would kill him.
That's the problem we're having with Derek Fisher in New York. Coaching is too close to the court. An upper management position, part ownership, day-to-day operations, oh yeah, I can see Kobe running that. Absolutely.
Do you think Kobe will ever do anything that will not have something to do with
No.
basketball? Me either.
No, I think he's going
He's
to be
gonna
the
be
GM.
part of basketball.
With the way the Lakers
Yeah.
organization and front office is right now, I could totally see Kobe Bryant having a position in the Lakers front office.
And you know what? That might be a really good thing.
Now, back to my original point. It's hard for me to say that Kobe Bryant is done being an MVP caliber player. But I have come to grips with it that it is a fact. There are too many great players now
Yeah.
that play such a different style. Is Kobe Bryant done being unstoppable? No. Because I don't care if he's 38 or 88. You're not going to be able to stop him. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're LeBron James. You're not going to be able to stop him.
I think he would
But
come back and hurt himself all over
If you
again.
want to talk about not leaving on a bad note,
Right.
I'm taking the exact opposite route that you're taking.
Oh, okay.
No, he's not done. Because in our minds, he can go out like this. This is Father Time knocking on your door, telling you, hey man, it's time.
He's not going to see it that way.
He does not look at it that way. For him, if he retires now, this is the worst note he could retire on. Because he scored 81 with a broken middle finger on his shooting hand. Because he played 3 years not knowing that his ACL was half torn. Because injuries have never stopped the man.
Right.
He freaking tore his ACL a year ago? And he's played, what, 25 games this season? Injuries have never stopped the man. So it's not going to stop him now.
That's a big salary.
This
That's a big salary chunk for a team like the Lakers right now that is struggling to have as a burden and nobody take that place.
This is not the way that Kobe wants to go out. Is Kobe Bryant going to win another ring? Sadly, no. He's not.
You think they can force him to retire?
No. No.
They need that salary.
Kobe's worth it. To a Lakers organization, one more year, because that's all he's got left on his contract. One more year, it's worth it. It's worth it.
We got half of this one where he's not going to be there.
Now, the fact of the matter is this is the worst note he could leave on in his mind. This would haunt him more than going out on an 0-82 season.
Are you serious?
Because in his mind,
it would all be his fault.
At least he was on the floor when it happened.
Yeah. He would turn it in on himself.
So the fact of the matter, and all these people saying Kobe ain't going to come back, I got news for y'all. You're wrong. All this is going to do is make him want to come back more. Look at Paul George. Now, I know we're not comparing apples to apples.
No.
But it's a similar situation.
Well,
minus
the mindset.
Minus
is the same.
father time.
The mindset about
Now,
their playing ability.
Part B. When Kobe retires, which it's safe to say after next season, what will you remember most about him and why? What will stick out in your mind the most about Kobe Bryant?
On the court?
Is there a moment in his career? Is there a picture of him? Is there something that he did on the floor? An accomplishment? Anything? But one thing that you could say, oh, that's Kobe Bryant. What would that one thing be?
Drive.
And why?
Drive. Determination. Drive. Persistence. Pig-headedness. Bull-headedness. About the fact that you don't quit till the whistle blows. I don't care how far down they are. He still plays like they're winning by 20 points.
He's going to bring them back.
Right. Now, personally, that's a whole different ball game. I don't like some of the things he did in his personal life, but we're not talking about his personal life.
What will I remember about Kobe?
And loyalty. I will remember loyalty.
This is tough because...
Has he been anything besides a Laker?
Well, he was drafted to the Hornets.
Right.
But they got rid of him immediately.
Exactly.
So he has never played for any other team.
Right.
What will I remember? This is hard because I've literally watched Kobe's entire career from when he was drafted in '97.
Well, you grew up watching this.
To now.
Yeah.
5 rings. Okay, there's so many things. 5 rings.
That's a big statement.
And in my mind, okay, people, you can say what you want about Wilt Chamberlain's 100 points. That was an era of a 7'2" guy in an era of 6'5" kids.
Absolutely.
And all of his field goals were dunks and free throws. Give me a break. Kobe scored a straight 81 points in 2006.
He can do it all.
That, in my mind, is the scoring record.
And he was hurt.
And he had a broken finger when he did.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Weren't there 2 of them taped together?
Yes.
Yeah.
But the thing that I will remember the most about Kobe Bryant is and it kind of goes hand in hand with determination and drive that you mentioned. When everything's against him, he still comes out on top.
Mm-hmm.
The killer instinct of this man on the basketball court, when you least expect it, when you think you've got the game won, because he could be 0 of 99 and he would hit that 100th shot.
I do know one thing. If I had to classify anybody as the best underdog player with the comeback potential, it would probably be
Him or Paul Pierce.
Yeah. Because I don't care. Like I said, even if they're down 25 points and there's 10 seconds left in the game, he's still playing like they're 25 points ahead.
But the thing I'll remember the most about him, and I know there's going to be comments on this video, and I'm going to get emails, bring it on. Because I didn't grow up watching MJ. I can appreciate everything MJ did because, I'm a basketball historian and a basketball analyst. I love Michael Jordan. I love what he did to the game, but I am sorry. I have watched Kobe Bryant develop from a kid, 18 years old, playing with Shaq, who was dominant when it was Kobe and Shaq, it wasn't about Kobe. It was about Shaq.
Absolutely.
Kobe has evolved. When Jordan got drafted, it was Jordan. Immediately. When Kobe got drafted, nobody was looking at him because he was playing with Shaq. I have watched Kobe develop from a kid playing with Shaq to probably the greatest Laker to ever live, and he did it on his own. He didn't have nobody's help. Yeah, Phil Jackson was there. Yeah, he had guys like Pau Gasol and Derek Fisher.
Yeah, but he wasn't in anybody's shadow.
This man has become probably the greatest player to ever set foot on an NBA floor, and he did it on his own. And the persistence, the work ethic, the never say die attitude of this man is like no other. This guy is easily the greatest Laker to ever play. Probably the greatest player to ever play in my mind. And
Okay.
God bless his soul. And please recover quickly. Please.
One final little tidbit. How do you feel about him coming back and maybe re-injuring himself
It's a risk you take.
all over him?
It's a risk you take.
You want him to come back next season?
I want him to come back because I know he's not going to win another ring. And I know that as the ultimate Kobe Bryant fan. But I want to see him come back. And I want to see him go out on the right note. For himself. Not for me. Because he could leave right now and have nothing but good spirits with me. Because don't risk it, man. But I know in his mind that this is not the way he wants to do it.
Yeah.
I want to see him at peace with himself.
Last little tidbit here about Kobe, because we've gone on for so long about him. What happens now, since I'm not familiar with how this works? Excuse me. What happens to him being on the All-Star team?
Well, somebody starts in his place. He'll probably be there, but he'll be sitting on the bench. He'll probably get a standing ovation, wave his hand.
Okay.
But somebody else will start in his place. It'll probably be James Harden.
As it should be.
As it should be.
Okay. All right.
All right. Let's move on to some game analysis. Let's go to the 25th. That would be Sunday. The Atlanta Hawks extend their franchise-long win streak to 16 with the win over Boston. We're not talking about the game because Boston gave them a run, okay? But
Wait. Atlanta played Minnesota on the.
Oh, I said the wrong team. Sorry, Minnesota, not Boston. That's my fault.
Yeah.
Because Minnesota gave them a little bit of a run for a little while. Question A. In your years of watching basketball,
Okay.
is this the most impressive streak you've ever seen? Why or why not?
Yeah, I would have to say pretty much. Yeah, I would have to say pretty much. If anybody would have told me during the off season that Atlanta would be where they are right now at this point in time and still being the first seed with this many wins and this far ahead, I would have to say, yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
For me,
yeah.
it's not the 16-game win streak. 30 out of 32.
It's
Are
the way they're
you
playing.
kidding me?
It's the way they're meshing and they're gelling and they're playing. They're reading each other's minds. They're
It's something to watch.
Yeah.
This team right
It
here.
is.
This team, and the greatest thing about them is they don't have a star.
Right.
They have Teague. They have Corver.
They have a lot of stars.
Carroll.
No, you said that wrong. They have a lot of stars. They don't have a, quote, superstar.
Okay, but I would not consider Kyle Corver a star.
The way they're playing like stars.
They look like
Right.
stars.
Okay, I take that back. I stand corrected. Thank you, Chris.
If there is
They
a star,
are playing.
let me say this though. If there is a star on this team, it is Jeff Teague.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
That guy
Absolutely.
can ball.
Absolutely. That, I stand corrected, Chris, thank you. There is no star, no superstar. They're playing.
They make each other look like superstars.
Absolutely.
And I cannot tell you the big, big difference that everybody's missing.
And you know what? It's very refreshing.
The difference that people are missing from this season to last season. I hear about it
Oh, it's-
every day. What happened? What happened? In fact, I got an email 2 days ago from one of our viewers that said, "Hey man, what has transformed the Hawks?" Al Horford. They didn't have him last season. This guy completely transforms this team. This is not undermining what Paul Millsap has done.
No.
Or Kyle Korver, or Damari Carroll, or Jeff Teague, or Shelvin Mack, or any of those boys.
I agree.
It has been Al Horford's presence in the paint and his unselfishness. It's like a total different team. It is a total different team
It is.
from last year. Question B.
It is.
Will Atlanta
Yes.
be the 1 seed in the East?
Yes.
Why or why not?
Yes. They're proving it right now.
You say that with a lot of confidence.
They're proving it right. Who is going to take their place and pass them up?
Right now, okay, if I have
With
to tell
the way
you,
they're playing right now.
if I have to tell you right now,
If everything was status quo with among
if
all
everything
the
was
teams.
status quo for the rest of the year, of course they'd be the number 1 seed.
Okay.
But the fact of the matter is that with the All-Star break coming up, you've got a week off.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sorry, it drains momentum when you don't play for a week.
That's true.
Okay? I want to say, I'm not saying they won't do it. Please understand that. I got a lot of respect for this Atlanta Hawks team, mainly because of what's going on with their ownership at this point.
Yeah.
And playing like this with their ownership of the state that it's in.
Can you imagine playing under that kind of pressure, not even knowing who owns you?
Right.
That
But
must be a very big burden and a very
I
big
want
cross
to
bear.
see.
That's got to be on their mind.
I want to see how this team comes out of the All-Star break, because honestly, the All-Star break, yeah, it's a break, but it also breaks momentum. Okay? When you don't play for a
They
week,
have any All-Star players?
not a single one.
They have any players that are going to be on the All-Star team?
On the reserves, yes.
Because I was about to say, is that going to drain anybody or change morale?
No. Mm-mm. No.
Okay.
But not playing a game for about 6 to 8 days, that hurts. It hurts momentum because you're in a rhythm. And it's just, you stop for a week's time.
That would be a real shame.
I want to see how they come out. If I have to give you any candidates as to who could knock them off, I'm sorry. You say what you want. Chicago is there. Okay? Washington is there.
I would put Washington before Chicago.
Right now, yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But Chicago is there. Look at the way Cleveland's been playing. They've won 6 straight, which we'll talk about actually next. Okay? Cleveland's coming. Okay? Toronto's still there. They could have a streak.
What in the world do you think it's going to do to Cleveland during the All-Star break with LeBron being on the All-Star team, and they can practice all they want? If you've got a member that's part of the All-Star team, it's like a piece of the puzzle that's missing.
Well,
what kind of damage do you
see.
think that could do to Cleveland?
We'll see. It can do damage to every team. We'll see. Speaking of LeBron and the Cavs, LeBron and the Cavs top Oklahoma City for their 6th straight win. This was on the same day. This was one of the back-to-backs on ABC. The 2 questions. Number 1, who did this game show more about? Cleveland or Oklahoma City, and why? Very interesting question.
I don't know how to answer that.
Very tough question.
I don't know how to answer that. My first instinct would be to say Cleveland because they were struggling there for a few games. And it's like they got their momentum going back in this game. And to beat OKC is no small feat.
Bingo. Bingo.
I mean, if you're going to be in a slump and you come back and you beat the Knicks, that's one thing, and I hate to use the Knicks as a poor example.
Well, Knicks have been playing
but
better lately.
True. It's true. Okay? But if you're in a slump on a losing streak of 2 or 3 games, and you come back and you beat OKC by 10, that's an accomplishment.
Bingo. This game,
I think it showed more about
from a team perspective, because
Yeah.
we will discuss the whole LeBron Durant thing next.
right.
Because we have a history on this show of criticizing Durant against LeBron and how he backs off. He didn't do that in
Not
this
me,
game.
you.
You've done it too!
Yeah, but not as strongly as you feel about it.
Because I know what he can do. We'll talk about that next.
Okay.
From a team perspective, this game clearly showed more about Cleveland. It showed how much they've changed since the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And allow me to say that I was wrong. I thought J.R. Smith coming over and Iman Shumpert coming over was going to be a disaster. And at first it was.
I would say for maybe 2 games.
Because they didn't have LeBron.
Right.
But with LeBron on the floor, everybady's heads are right. Everybody's heads are straight. You're
I did
focused on
not
the same
realize
goal.
that he was such a balancer.
Yeah.
He balances people out. I didn't realize that. I'd like to give kudos to him for that.
This game clearly showed more about Cleveland and their progression since the
He
beginning.
makes everybody forget about their egos, their self-pride, their selfishness and
And who is-
whatever. And he makes them realize, hey, this is our job. We're here to do a job. We need to work together as a team. We need to go out there unified and win this game.
You know who that reminds me of? Peyton Manning. It's comparable.
Yeah, you can't talk about football right now.
Yeah, but I'm just
that
saying.
would take us another 4 hours.
I'm just saying the
know.
leadership thing.
I know.
The explanation you just gave.
You know they got a new defensive coordinator this morning.
Who, Denver? Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Good. But no, it clearly showed more about Cleveland and how much they've progressed, and give them
Yeah.
credit. They've been doing well. They've worked hard.
Yeah.
And you know what? I got to give David Blatt a little bit of credit during this 6-game win streak. He's coached better games. He's given the guys good minutes. But he does need to be conscious of LeBron's minutes. Because LeBron is playing a lot of minutes. You're going to need him in the playoffs.
Do you think Blatt backing off a little bit has anything to do with LeBron turning him around and pushing him off the
It's got
court?
everything to do with that.
I do too.
Because since that game, they've won 5 straight.
Absolutely.
There's no
I
doubt.
didn't know if you had put the correlation together, but I did.
Now, question B. Who was more impressive to you in this game? LeBron or Durant?
Durant.
And why?
Durant. Because that's not the same Kevin Durant that went up against LeBron last year. And I will be the first one to admit that I have said for the last 2 years, he needs to find his guts. He needs to stop being intimidated. I said this in our last week's debate. I want to give kudos to him and I want to congratulate him. And I am so proud of him for standing up and not being intimidated by these big dogs anymore.
From a one-on-one standpoint.
That's what I'm talking about.
From a one-on-one standpoint.
That is exactly what I mean.
As far as the attitudes go, I was extremely impressed with Kevin Durant in this game. You can't really argue against 37 points.
No kidding.
But in the end, LeBron's team won.
Yeah?
And LeBron didn't have that bad of a game either. 34-12.
No, but your question was who was more impressive, LeBron or Durant?
Okay, but from an attitude standpoint and going out there and showing the guts, oh yeah, Durant. But you look at the stats.
But we expect LeBron to have good stats.
Clearly.
Baby. Yeah, but wait
was
a minute.
more impressive.
Whoa! We expect LeBron.
You expect Durant to have good stats.
Hey, if LeBron doesn't have good stats, then there's something to complain and bitch about.
So Durant, same thing.
LeBron more so.
Okay.
So personally, whatever you want, we may agree to disagree. I was more impressed with Durant.
On that same day, Dwayne Wade and the Heat surprised Chicago. Yvonne Juno, how surprised were you with the result of this game?
Well, I picked Chicago to win. Okay? And they didn't win. Does that pretty much tell you how I feel about that? If I didn't have enough confidence in Miami to pick them to beat Chicago, that pretty much tells you how surprised I was when they did beat Chicago. But it kills me to ever say anything negative about Dwayne Wade in any way, shape, or form.
I have to explain this because it's going to come off very contradictory to my opinion that I've voiced about the Chicago Bulls and their superiority in the East. I was not shocked that Miami won this game.
Oh, I thought it could have gone either way, but I didn't think it was going to be that big a point spread.
I was shocked at how Miami won this game. Because we are talking about the team that is ranked 25th in team defense this season, holding the Chicago Bulls to 84 points on the road.
Mm-hmm.
That's shocking to me.
Mm-hmm.
That is shocking. Am I surprised that D. Wade scored 26? Of course not.
No.
It's Dwayne Wade. Am I surprised that Chris Bosh had a double-double? Absolutely
No.
not. Am I surprised that Hassan Whiteside had a triple-double in this game? Yes, But I want to explain the story about Hassan Whiteside because a lot of people don't even know who he is in question B. Okay? I was shocked at how Miami won this game. Shocked. 84 to Chicago on the road? I'm sorry, that shocked me a little bit. I love D. Wade. I got nothing but respect for him. I got nothing but love for him. But it shocked me. From a team standpoint, it was shocking. Now, Hassan Whiteside, 14 points, 13 rebounds, and a Miami Heat franchise record, 12 blocks in this game. Your thoughts?
Oh, he was... You know the old expression, it was just his day? He couldn't do anything wrong. He couldn't do anything wrong. He was on fire. Is that the most points or the most rebounds or the most blocks anybody's ever made? Absolutely not. But from somebody like this to have a triple-double with those kind of numbers, are you kidding?
Let me preface
Who is virtually like an unknown?
Let me preface this by explaining the story of Hassan Whiteside. Not in great depth. He was drafted out of college. But for the past year, he's been to Europe. He's played in Europe. He's played a little bit in the NBA. But this past offseason, he was training at the YMCA when a Miami Heat scout called him and said, "Hey man, we have a roster spot. Come try out for us." And you go and get 14, 13. For you to go and get 14, 13, and a franchise record 12 blocks from a kid that was playing at the YMCA this offseason, or again, against Chicago. Are you kidding me? That's crazy to me. It's crazy from how he's gone from nothing to being a star player on that team. It's nuts.
Do you think they'll let him start?
He is starting.
He is starting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The next game. Chris Paul leads the Clippers to a rout of Phoenix. Yvonne, how impressed with the Clippers were you in this game? How impressed were you with the Clippers?
I was very impressed, but I was not surprised. There's a difference, okay? I know that if the Clippers, let's see how I can say this. If everybody puts their ego aside and plays together well, and if everybody plays their position and everybody does what they're supposed to do, the Clippers can play. I mean, look who your coach is. Are you kidding me? Them beating Phoenix by 20 points? That was a little bit of a shock. I knew they could beat Phoenix. But by 20 points? I was very impressed.
How impressed was I? I was impressed. Even them beating Phoenix by 20 didn't shock me because I know they're capable of it.
They're absolutely capable.
They beat them by 20 on the road. Mm-hmm. That is what shocked me. That home road aspect. The Clippers are one of those teams that is not nearly the same on the road as they are at home.
The Pelicans.
Hello. And Phoenix is the 8th seed in the West. Barely now. Thank you, Clippers. Yep. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Now, the Clippers, after last night beating Denver, have now won 5 straight. Your thoughts?
I'm excited. I'm so excited. And you know what I'm the most excited about?
Friday.
I'm excited because Friday we get to see them play in New Orleans. Now, ask me how much controversy is going on inside of me about, because Chris Paul will always be my favorite basketball player. Always. I don't know if that's because you walked around here dribbling a basketball that was bigger than you, calling yourself CP3 Jr., or telling me that Chris Paul was your daddy, or I mean, all of that. There's a lot of nostalgia.
But Kobe's my uncle.
There's a lot of nostalgia there, and it takes me back. It warms my heart.
How do you think it makes me feel?
Okay, so, but I love the Pelicans.
You gotta go for the Pelicans.
Okay,
Come on.
They're my home team
Come
now.
on.
But I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to be yelling out loud, but on the inside, if Chris Paul makes a three-point shot, I'm going to be cheering on the inside. I don't mind saying it out loud.
Well, it's great. It's gonna be great to see him back.
It's going to be great to watch them play.
They've won.
And we get to see Doc.
Yeah.
I mean, do you realize what we're going to see Friday night?
Yeah. Honestly.
You know what would be the icing on the
If we won.
cake? Not only if we won, but if Drew could be on the court. I know he won't. I know he won't. And God, please don't let anything happen to Anthony Davis between now and
That
Friday.
guy is insane.
Okay. Oh, he's a miraculous player. But I want to see that game so bad. I'm so excited. I'm pumped for this game.
Oh, yeah.
There's a part of me that's going to be devastated if the Clippers lose.
Now what are you gonna do in February where we see D Wade? Because you love you some Dwayne Wade.
I love me some Dwayne
And
Wade.
I love me some
I
Dwayne
know
Wade. I don't
you
know.
do.
I might wear a freaking Miami Heat jersey. I don't know.
You won't be sitting by me if you wear a
Gee.
Heat jersey.
Anyway,
But I will root for our home team.
The
but I'll be
Clippers-
honest, I do want the Pelicans. Let me make this clear. I want the Pelicans to win. But I hope Chris Paul has a good game. The scary part about that is, if Chris Paul has a good game,
we're in trouble.
we're in trouble.
The Clippers have won 5 straight. Look, check this
Yeah.
out. This team.
And they haven't won some
Let me tell you something.
bottom of the rung teams here.
Let me tell you something. When this team puts it all together, when this team is clicking on all cylinders, not 4 out of the 5,
I know.
all 5 cylinders
I
clicking,
know.
there is not a team in the league that can beat this team
I tell-
in a 7-game series. There is not a team in this league that
I
can.
tell you what, when you look back over the brief period of years that I have been watching basketball, NBA with you, there are certain things that stand out in my mind. Okay? When Chris Paul was with the Hornets and used to do the alley-oop shots with Tyson Chandler. Okay? When all of a sudden everybody was looking at each other and saying, Rondo who? Okay? That kind of stuff. When Russell Westbrook, all of a sudden, the beast was unleashed. Okay? This year, Kevin Durant coming out of his shell and when LeBron went back to Cleveland. Okay? All of those things will always stand out in my mind. All right? Chris Paul making everybody play together and everybody meshing. Okay? And if they come across and they keep playing the way they've been playing, that's going to stand out in my mind, because in my mind, Chris Paul is still a Hornet. He's still a Hornet. And seeing all of this develop right before our eyes is a beautiful thing to see. And that 3-person play last night, I will never forget that. Chris Paul at the line, gets the ball in his hand, gives it up unselfishly and throws it to Barnes. Barnes sees that Crawford is right under the goal and makes that phenomenal play. That was a beautiful thing to behold. And Crawford can play some ball. There's certain things everybody's different. There's certain things to me that are just unforgettable. And that play last night, that was unforgettable. Because it was like, it was like a machine. It's like they had been practicing it, and it's like the stage was, it was like it was already pre-planned. Instead of them just making it happen. And they made that happen. It was a beautiful
I tell you,
thing to see.
the three greatest things I've ever seen in basketball. Number one, I watched the entire game where Kobe scored 81. The entire thing from start to finish. I will never forget it. I will never in my life forget it. The second thing would be in 2001 when Allen Iverson, my God, Allen Iverson,
See, I didn't see
and
that.
the Philadelphia 76ers. His next best player on that team was Aaron McKee.
Who?
Okay, exactly. And they went up against the Los Angeles Lakers of Derek Fisher, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal. In game one, Philadelphia was 18-point underdogs. 18 points in the NBA Finals. And Allen Iverson scored 57 points in game one.
Wow.
And won the game in overtime. Stepping over that Tyronn Lue. I've shown you that highlight.
Yep.
Where Iverson hits that corner shot
Yep.
and steps over Tyronn Lue, all 6 foot, 160 pounds of it.
Yep.
Okay? And I will never forget.
And up until last year, he didn't get the credit he
And I will
deserved.
never forget Chris Paul's role in 2007. Bringing our team to the Western Conference Finals against the Spurs. Ooh, the Spurs.
I know.
Before Drew Brees brought us a Super Bowl, Chris Paul solidified our basketball franchise. And let me go off of that and say that we witnessed Anthony Davis's best game of his career last year.
You're right.
40 and 21 against Boston.
Yep.
We were
And
there.
And still a baby.
We were there.
Just a baby.
Crazy. Speaking of Anthony Davis and the Pelicans, New Orleans tops Dallas for a huge win.
Yeah.
Who did this game show more about, New Orleans or Dallas, and why?
New Orleans. That it can be done. And I would like to add a little commentary to that, saying that shame on me when we first made our picks for the week. I know, shut up. When we first made our picks for the week, I had Dallas circled.
No, ma'am.
And I said, Bud, I really don't. I want to. My heart wants me to. But I really don't think we can beat Dallas. And I called you that morning and I said, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I'm changing my pick and I'm going with New Orleans. And I'm so glad that we didn't win by much. We didn't win by much. But the difference, I'd like to go on by saying, the difference it makes with or without Anthony Davis on the court, not only for his playing ability, not only for his expertise, but because I think even at such a young age, he's the one that makes the team work. He's the glue that holds everything together. And he's 22 years old. Oh my gosh, what's he going to be like in 2-3 years? If we can hold on to him.
We will. We're going to pay him the max in the offseason. We'll give him his money. He deserves it.
Oh, by the way, little footnote added to that. I would like to compliment Eric Gordon on the last few games and his playing ability and his assists and him being all over the place,
Well deserved.
doing his job,
Well deserved.
and earning his money finally. Okay?
Who did this game show more about? That's kind of tough for me to say, actually, because it showed a lot about both teams. You look at this from New Orleans' perspective, it showed that we can play with the best.
Absolutely.
And it also showed
We beat San Antonio!
we've beaten San Antonio twice.
Yeah!
And this was our first meeting with Dallas this season. And we beat them. Now, why can't we beat Philadelphia?
We had an off night that night.
Now, why can't we beat Charlotte?
We had an off
Okay, if
night
you can
that
beat
night
there's good and bad to both.
because
And Dallas.
We beat Philadelphia last night.
And if you look at
You-
Dallas,
Okay, sorry to interrupt you. You realize the teams that we're losing to is mostly the teams when we're away?
yeah,
We do not play well away from home.
and that's bad.
And that's bad. And whatever it is, we need to get over it.
I think this game showed more about New Orleans simply because there's so much. You look at 109, 106, and you go, okay, it's a good win. It was a close game. But they were gutsy. They made plays that they normally don't make. They went that extra mile to win this game.
Yep.
It's the way they won.
Yeah.
And now you've got a race
I know.
for the 8th
They're
seed in the
even.
West.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not even yet. Phoenix is a game and a half above us. But there's a race now because Oklahoma City's there too.
Well, no, we're even with OKC.
We're above
We're
OKC
dead
now.
even.
We're above OKC now.
Since last night?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Half game.
Half a game. Damn.
But Phoenix still holds that 8th seed by 1.5. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting.
So what? You know I'm not good at this, and I admit it openly. What do we need? Who needs to lose?
Well, we'll talk about that in the Pelicans'
All right.
outlook.
Okay.
We'll
That's
talk about
fine.
that in the outlook.
That's fine. I agree. I'm jumping ahead.
We're going to end part 1 here. Part 2 coming at you next.